they told. It was really weird because I was sitting down, just about to have my Sunday lunch, me and Iris, and the phone rang. Literally like that. And I went on the phone, and they said, "Oh, this is police so-and-so. We're trying to get in touch with Rob Gretton." And I said, "Oh, but he should be at home." She said, "Oh, we phoned him at home. He's not there." I said, "Why, what's the problem?" And she went, "Oh, well, we've got, sorry to tell you this, but Ian Curtis has committed suicide." And I went, "Oh, right, okay." And he went, "Right, okay, well, if you speak to Mr. Gretton, could you get him to call us, And I went, "Yeah, right, okay." And put the phone down and went and sat back and had me dinner. And then Iris said to me, "Oh, he was on the phone, by the way." And I went, "Oh, Ian has killed himself." And that was it then. That was the shock of it. It was really weird. Horrible.
When he first tried to commit suicide, when he took the overdose, it was a complete surprise. In fact, when he actually did commit suicide, and Rob told me, I said, "What, he's tried again?" I can't believe it, he's tried again. He said, "No, he has. He's dead." I was like, "What, he's tried it?" He said, "No, he's dead. He's done it."
Everything then seems a blur after that, really. Spent most of the time in the pub, spent most of the time together, all of us. Me, Twinny, Terry, Barney, we'd all go and sit together, just sit in the pub together. I think you just couldn't take it in, really. It's hard to say, sort of 50% sad and 50% angry, really. Angry at him, really, for being stupid and doing that, and angry at myself for not doing something. Yeah.
I arrived in London, he never rang, so I thought maybe there's a problem. I should call his parents, because that's where he was staying, where he was supposed to stay. And when I called, his father just said, "Ian is dead," and he put the phone down, and that was it.
I came home from work and there's this piece of paper I looked at and it says, "Singer kills himself on eve of tour." You think, A, this isn't true, and then you get a feeling of anger where you say, "You twat, why have you done that?" You bastard. You should suck it out with the rest of us.
Well, we didn't go to the wake. I don't think we were welcome, really, somehow. I mean, one of my greatest regrets in life is that I didn't go and see him, after he was dead. I really, really do regret that. But I think you were so young, you didn't know what the bloody hell. Nobody offered it you, I think somebody said, "Oh, do you want to go and see him?" I go, "Fucking right, do I want to go and see a dead body? Do a fuck?" I'm 22, I'm going to the pub, fuck that. But, I really do regret not seeing him and saying goodbye now. I really do. It's only Bernard and I that didn't go. Everybody else went,
Lindsay's and my job was to look after Anik. So I didn't go to the funeral because it was my job to make sure Anik got on the plane back to Brussels and there was no scene at the funeral. And certainly looking after Anik for 5 or 6 days. I'm sure Anik probably doesn't remember this much. She was playing both albums back to back, non-stop, 24 hours a day, for about the entire time she stayed in the cottage. There you go.
I didn't go to the funeral, but I went around to Factory Records after the funeral, and they played the great Rock and Roll Swindle. I always remember that, and I just remember being frozen throughout it, and I think we all were in the room, frozen at the aptness and the absolute ridiculous stupidity that we should be doing this. So it was a classic putting on a brave face, I guess, and doing it in a showy way, and not really dealing with the emotion. It was almost like we were just too damned self-conscious about maintaining a ridiculous kind of degraded cool, a kind of cool that in a way, a lot of that thing at that time was meant to destroy, but we still, didn't really talk to each other.
The day Tony phoned me to tell me that Ian had died, it was during that conversation that I suddenly thought of the cover we had. And I felt it necessary to point it out. And Tony was very concerned. The notions of sensationalism or exploitation were like there, and I said, Tony, we've got a tomb on the cover of the album, and he was like, oh fuck.
Because Joy Division ends, because it ends with a jolt, the jolt of a rope, there's a tendency to end the story there. I think the important thing is not to end the story there.
Why did we decide to carry on? We just carried on. We just never even thought, should we carry on or not carry on? It was just, we went to the funeral, went to the wake at Palatine Road, and then so Monday, see you on Monday then. That was it. Joy Division, that we did it, four of us didn't know what we were doing, didn't know why we were doing it, and the chemistry was unbelievable. And talk to one of us if we didn't know. Maybe Ian might have known. I suppose that's something we'll never find out. But it was just pure chemistry of four people, and it was easy. It was easy writing those songs, and playing that well. It was easy, and it only got difficult when he died.
That Joy Division created and were at the heart of and inspired many other people to take part in, of not differentiating between dance and rock, has resulted in this modern city, in what was the original modern city becoming again a modern city. The vibrancy of the city, the expectations of the city, all those things are the legacy of Joy Division.
I think what they managed to do had a kind of truth to it that has sustained through the fluctuations of fashion. An integrity, something you can believe in, something that didn't seem to be just for the money, for the career, it was anti-industry, all the things that ultimately have seemed important to the maintenance of popular culture. The reinvention of what cool is. Those that exploit, can make good use of something like Joy Division because it explains some of the rules of what it is to be cool.
The two works are Unknown Pleasures and Closer, and that's it. Everything else is merchandising. Merchandising of memory.
We live in a time where brands are everything. But Joy Division were beyond all that because you could simply trust what they were doing.
Joy Division in particular, Factory in general, Ian's story, is one of the last true stories in pop. There are very few true stories in a business-dominated pop culture.
Yes, it's a fabulous story, the story of the rebuilding of a city that begins with them, the story of a tragic suicide, and a moral story, and a cultural, academic, intellectual, aesthetic story. But the heart of it is only here because they wrote great songs and great songs over time.